who I'm sure his term is ending at the World Trade Organization in Geneva and should be joining us when he gets back to the country. The Honorable J.B. Munyasia, the Honorable Kitobi Manyara, and many others. But the founding fathers themselves, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and Masinde Muliro, Kijana Wamalwa, Martin Shikuku, those who were there at the time, they fought for the space in this country. And even the freedoms that we enjoy in this country are a result of, the fight by those founders, the people who participated in the second liberation. That also includes others who are in other parties, Kennedy Matiba, Wanjigi and others. So I want to call on members, Kenyans, who had moved away from Fort Kenya, from Western to the coast, who are part of Fort Kenya, to be assured, that the party is now back in good hands. We're going to ensure that, for the time being, as an interim leader, I'll ensure that we get to organize elections. As you are aware, we have not had elections for the last 9 years. And the party is due for election. We're going to organize election. I call on them to come and participate. When we are ready, we'll be calling the National Delegates Congress, and each person, member of the party from any part of the country, should come and vie for any position. And finally, I want to also ask the former party leader to respect the structures of the party. Like we gave him all the support and respect, he should do the same. And either personally himself or his hirelings, he should stop. Otherwise, as a party, we will not hesitate, to invoke the necessary, statute and take disciplinary action, which should not be very good for him. And at this point now, I want to invite the Secretary General to give a chronology of what happened, step by step, and possibly share the documents. I think the ones that we have filed with the Registrar. This morning, after we presented our papers, we were the first to file the returns with the Registrar, and she acknowledged that all the documents were proper. But when we left, our colleagues also, I think, came with their own papers, which I think I'm sure they will not go anywhere, because the NEC we had here was properly constituted in accordance with the law, and we followed strictly the party constitution. So let me welcome the Secretary General to explain more and give step by step what happened. Do you want me to sit here?
You are our boss.
Let's switch, it's okay. Come and sit here, David.
Thank you for allowing me to sit on the boss's chair.
I'm not the boss.
It's a privilege.
I'm going to serve with you.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege that you allow me to take your seat and also address the nation through our colleagues from the media. As our party leader has just said, this party has a long history. Perhaps quite a number of you members of the press who are not there, or you are too young, unless you go back to the archives of your media houses and see what this party has done for this country. Our reason, and the next reason, the National Executive Council's decision to put Honorable Wafula Wamunyinyi as the interim party leader was because, amongst us, he is the oldest person with a long relationship with this party. He knows the ideals of this party. They are ingrained in his DNA. Given that he faced the time when things were very difficult for new parties to move, he knows the ideals. He lives the ideals. And that's why the NEC decided that he was the most suitable person to be given that position. We have presented our documentation. As Secretary General, I followed all the laws, all the regulations that needed to be followed to be able to file our returns with the Registrar, which, by the grace of God, we were able to file this morning. We did not make noise about it because this is a legal process. It is not something that can be subjected to maybe demonstrations and things of the sort, because we believe in the rule of law. So we've allowed the Registrar to go through the documents, and we believe and know she'll find that our filing was proper and also justified. Because as our party leader has just said, we want to take the party back to the people, to take it away from cartels that have used this party as a shop to gain financial or whatever benefit at a loss to the party membership. You all know that the party has gradually been shrinking in the sense that the elected membership has been reducing. If you count the absolute numbers, it will appear like it's growing. But the number of constituencies and the number of counties has also grown. But the party has not grown commensurately with that. Even in its own strongholds, the party's number of elected leaders is very low. And reason is because of poor leadership, where decisions have been made that have not been made with any consultation with the party organs, but have been made at the whim of certain individuals within the party, led by the then party leader himself. So we filed our returns, and you'll get copies of it. I think our communication officer has done some copies. He'll be able to give you some of the copies. Because as we said, this is a legal document. It's now before the Registrar, so we cannot spill everything. But you will definitely get a gist of what we've presented to the Registrar. And we are really looking forward to a good ending to today, so that the party can restart the journey that was abruptly ended by one Moses Masika Wetangula when he took over as party leader. We hope to get back on track and let every Kenyan know that this party still puts Kenyans' interests in front, not behind. Because while we say that politics is about interests, but these interests must be for the community. When personal interests subvert, overtake, subsume, or take over from community interests, then that is conmanship. That is not politics. And that's where this party had reached. We need to end that, and we pray and believe that this team will surely end this and call an NDC soon after the corona pandemic is over, so that we get the right people in the right offices to move this party forward as we go to 2022 elections, and also be able to cooperate so that whatever is facing the country, because I've kept on saying that President Uhuru Kenyatta is very unfortunate. He's president at a time, a very trying time, not just for the Kenyan people, not just for Kenya as a country, but for the whole world. There is COVID pandemic. Kenya has gone through flooding, Mara locusts. The economy is damaged. He is facing a really difficult time. And it behoves us, as leaders of this country, to listen and cooperate for the good of the country. So we intend to continue being a loyal opposition. A loyal opposition doesn't mean that we will not point out the wrongs. We will point out the wrongs. But a loyal opposition in the sense that we will not unnecessarily disrupt any programs for the recovery of the economy of this country. We will not disrupt any programs that will be put in place for the country to prevent and ameliorate the effects of COVID. We will not put obstacles in the way for this country to recover from the floods.